Let's take a look at some before and after. Let's look at Sarah. Sarah's a typical second grade writer. Sarah's not a struggling writer. Given this prompt, should parents give their children money for having good grades on their report cards? Sarah wrote the following: no, because parents aren't supposed to give money for their report cards and their grades. Okay, she answered the question. Now you need to know that in this classroom they had spent time reading persuasive letters. They had spent time talking about what it meant to persuade someone. But when Sarah was given the opportunity to write to persuade, she simply answered the question with her belief. After SRSD instruction class-wide, Sarah's essay is typical of what the majority of her classmates' writing look like. Now please remember that she's only 7 years old. Through the stages of SRSD instruction that I'll share with you in a minute, which took only about 12 30 to 40 minute lessons, Sarah wrote this totally independently at the end. She was asked, should teachers give students grades? Yes, I think teachers should give students grades. First, kids need it so they can see if they got 100. Second, it would be much more easy if you give students a grade. Finally, teachers would be proud of themselves if they give kids a grade. That's why teachers should give students grades. The end, and she needed to tell you that she has all her parts. One of the things Sarah learned is that to be persuasive, we have to have reasons. When we introduce our reasons to persuade, we need to give the reader cue words that tell us a reason is coming, linking words like first and next and finally. She also learned to think about the reader. What would the reader find persuasive? Not just what Sarah believes, but what would get to her reader. Now she's only 7, but look at the beginning we have. We have plenty of places to go from here. We can edit and revise this piece and make it even better. We can teach her those powerful editing and revising strategies. We can work on commas and sentence structure. We have somewhere to go. She is on the playing field as a writer. Now let's take a look at Paige. In 4th grade, she's a student with a learning disability. She received whole class SRSD, led by her teacher and assisted by the special education teacher. This is her pretest for simple opinion essay writing. Should children have to go outside for recess? This is what Paige wrote, and I bet you can think of children in your classrooms who would sound a lot like this. No, because kids need to be inside in storms and icky wet weather. Also to stay warm and cozy. Yes, because it might be really hot. Also, it might not be too cold. If you can find one single opinion in this essay, I will be impressed. This was common not just for students with learning disabilities in Paige's classroom, but for many of the typically achieving writers as well. We don't see clear reasons. We don't see careful consideration of the reader and what might convince the reader. And at 4th grade, we also would like to see explanations for reasons. We'd like to see the writer say even more in support of each reason. Now, after SRSD instruction, this is what Paige wrote totally independently. Should kids be paid to go to school? Listen up. Kids should get paid for going to school. My first reason is that they'll do their work better because if kids don't get paid, they won't do their work. Another reason is that kids work hard to learn. If kids really work hard to learn, they've earned cash. My last reason is that if kids are paid to go to school, they can use the money to buy things that will help them learn better. They can buy pencils, papers, crayons, books, calculators, and even more. This will be great for teachers too because they won't have to buy kids supplies like they do now. Now you know why kids need to be paid to go to school. Paige's teacher thought that ideation was a problem for Paige, that structure and organization were huge problems for Paige. But what we found in 12 to 14, 30 to 40 minute lessons is that ideation wasn't the issue. Structure was a bit of a challenge, but once Paige understood the basics of persuasive writing and the structure persuasive writers bring to a persuasive piece, she was able to build on that structure. This isn't formulaic. It has voice. As we go on, let me show you how we help our students find their voices and rewrite their own narratives about writing. Paige is a student who believed that she would never be a writer, that she was born this way, and she would always be a poor writer. Within 3 weeks, Paige's attitude and beliefs about writing had turned around dramatically.